welcome to our film show here on Arts 24, where we're looking at films coming out over the summer with critic Lisa Nesselson. Hi, Lisa.
Hello, Olivia.
Well, it's the time of year that we often associate with movies where you check your brain at the door, hope to be thrilled, or at least have a laugh. We're starting with 3 movies to be released worldwide, and they're all follow-ups or sequels. Do enlighten us.
Sure. Comic book characters Deadpool and Wolverine team up with an alien, and they all get swept up by a giant tornado. Sorry, I dropped my note cards and they got scrambled. Those are actually 3 separate movies. In real life, there are people called storm chasers who think it's fun to get insanely close to tornadoes. It's been 28 years since the original Twister, and special effects have evolved by leaps and bounds, and now it's plural, twisters. And climate change has given us more extreme weather events, possibly nearby, to grab our attention. The characters find themselves in a whirlwind of activity when several storm systems converge in Oklahoma.
Okay, well, here's a taste of that extreme weather and a word from leading man Glenn Powell. Who are they?
It's Tyler Owens. Calls himself a tornado wrangler. If you feel it!
I'm scared of nothing and I'm scared to death.
You know, our crew is not like your crew.
I can't breathe and I catch my breath.
We don't need PhDs and fancy tech. All the background artists on this movie are real storm chasers, right? And we're rolling around with these folks. We're becoming friends with them. We're sharing meals with them and learning from them, taking visits to the National Weather Center. And I think the first thing that I noticed was sheer giddy, childlike excitement. The way they look at the sky and the way they look at weather is just, it's so infectious.
Well, Glenn Powell might be childlike and excited, but I'm terrified by the idea of those tornadoes. Well, now we're getting 2 Marvel heroes, heavyweights, in fact, for the price of 1 in this next film.
Yes, snarky and irreverent mercenary Deadpool and hunky fellow in need of a manicure, Wolverine, have to team up to save great swaths of humanity in Deadpool and Wolverine. Most occasions to watch Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman tend to exude a certain je ne sais quoi.
They are funny.
In 1979, Ridley Scott's Alien gave us Sigourney Weaver as Ripley, a fearless action hero with a brain who happened to look great in a jumpsuit holding a weapon. Depending on how you count, Alien Romulus is the 9th variation, and in every one, the alien does not want to play nice. Here, a group of young space colonists treat some planetary debris like an interstellar flea market and scare up a critter who is no bargain.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the latest iteration of that non-human threat, with a warning that these are quite graphic images. What's happening?
There's something in the water.
What do you mean there's something in the water?
I don't know, there's just something in the water.
Also terrifying, if a little funny. Next to Emilia Perez. This is a Spanish-language musical from French auteur Jacque Audiard. It stars transgender actress Carla Sofia Gascon. She shared the Best Actress prize in Cannes with the film's other 3 actresses. And the story at the centre of this film is pretty original, isn't it?
Oh, original indeed. It's the story of a murderous Mexican drug cartel boss, also played with macho flair by Carla Sofia Gascon, who escapes law enforcement by transitioning into being the woman he has always felt himself to be. He faked his own death with the help of a lawyer, played by Zoe Saldana, but eventually she realizes that she desperately misses the children he had with his wife, who believes she's a widow.
Okay, well, let's get a glimpse of the title character finally comfortable in her own skin, using her ill-gotten gains for good. Now, I know this film went down really, really well at the Cannes Film Festival, where it got its world premiere in May, and it also won the jury prize there.
I'm in the minority on this, but as much as I applaud the very, very inventive premise, I found the film itself irritating, the music unmemorable, and the theme that helping survivors find the mass graves of their disappeared loved ones who you disappeared more more slimy than admirable. It's a terrific showcase for Carla Sofia Gascon's talents, but I found the characters more annoying than touching.
Okay, mitigated then. Well, next, to a documentary about the Olympic Games, of course. Brothers Jules and Gideon Naudet were chosen to document the months of preparation for this huge event. Tell us more about this one.
Well, in 2001, the Naudet brothers, Frenchmen who have lived in New York for 35 years now, were shooting a documentary about a lower Manhattan fire station when Jules heard something unusual overhead. He whipped the camera skyward just in time to capture the impact of the first plane against the World Trade Center. So we've all seen their invaluable, if accidental, contribution to history. Jules entered the wreckage and Gideon continued filming at the firehouse, and the feature documentary called 9/11 was released in 2002. This summer, the brothers take us behind the scenes of Paris 2024 in a 4-part TV series, Au cœur des Jeux, or At the Heart of the Games, overseeing the events with skill and imagination. The architect who saw to it that the incredibly heavy metal rings that currently adorn the Eiffel Tower not only sang his favorite operatic aria, but invited his mom to witness the hoisting in the dead of night to see whether it was a success or not. It was dark if anything went wrong. The journey of the Olympic flame, including across mountains and valleys, and of course, Paris Mayor Anne Hidalgo touring the then pristine gargantuan pipe designed to handle any sewer overflow to make certain the Seine remains uncontaminated by sewage should it flood.
Wow. Well, and speaking of the Seine, Anne Hidalgo has since had a dip in the river to prove how clean it is, a moment that might make it into the final cut of the film. But let's take a look at the current version of that documentary.
I get choked up easily. That's so inspiring. It takes a lot of people to plan and complete a lot of tasks. And the Naudets managed to film a terrific, touching, and visual cross-section of problem solvers, solving seemingly insurmountable problems. The 4 episodes will be shown on French TV, 2 before and 2 after the games. And the feature film incorporating the games themselves is slated for theaters early next year.
Well, of course, we're expecting millions of people to arrive in the French capital this summer, but not all of them will have tickets for the games. Now, a group that's been organising screenings of French films with English subtitles since 2015 has decided to take that opportunity to boost their programme. Tell us about this initiative, Lost in Frenchlation.
I've never liked their name, although it's easy to remember, but boy, do I applaud that initiative. Speaking as somebody who picked up French by watching English language movies with French subtitles, I'm happy to report that they'll be showing a different subtitled French film every day through August 11th at different movie theaters around town. Paris is the main arena, but they've branched out to cities like Biarritz and Grenoble. French director Eric Romer's work will be highlighted, along with recent releases like The Count of Monte Cristo, the re-release of Amélie, and some successful French comedies, surprisingly dumb, and a few dramatic classics like Jean-Luc Godard's Breathless.
Ah, great way to get educated about French cinema. And speaking of classics, French filmmaker Abel Gance's Napoléon was first shown in 1927, and since then it's been re-edited multiple times. Passages were lost and found, and so the Cinémathèque Française set out to restore the definitive version, which premiered with a full orchestra, and it actually lasts 7 hours. It comes in 2 parts. How was the response?
The response to this 7-hour restoration project seems to indicate that people don't just want to see what's brand new. Sometimes we really do relish what is old. They only devoted 10 years to organizing the Summer Olympic Games. Restoring Napoleon, as seen by its director Abel Gance, required 15. And the years of detective work, boy, did they pay off. The scope and invention of the film remain dazzling, from the opening snowball fight, where young Napoleon shows a precocious snack for military strategy to the breathtakingly ambitious final sequence, during which the projected image stretches to 3 times its normal scope to show thousands upon thousands of extras invading Italy because Napoleon roused them to do so, not to mention the eerie scene with the dead figureheads of the revolution, Danton, Robespierre and company, who create a sort of job interview from beyond the grave, admonishing Bonaparte to victory or else they'll haunt him. Gance saw his subject as a great man and a workaholic, precisely the leader the nation required. In those 7 hours of screen time, I can report, Napoleon rarely removes his distinctive hat, which clings to his head, through most of the thrilling sequence where his boat is buffeted by killer waves. I tip my hat to the restoration team. It is being shown in regular cinemas and at the Cinémathèque Française in 2 parts, is available in choice spots throughout France, and will soon venture out into the world thanks to the restoration efforts of the French Cinémathèque.
Wow, an incredible accomplishment. And we'll get a glimpse of it in a moment. But before we go, I must say that after 15 years of sharing your opinions on cinema here on France 24, this is your final film show, Lisa. So on behalf of the whole team, I'd like to thank you for that insight over the years. And a reminder, of course, that past Arts 24 cinema shows are available to watch on YouTube and on our website. Otherwise, we'll leave you with a clip of the monumental Napoleon. See you here next time.